Today, I gave myself 1 hour to produce a dashboard. Stick around if you want to find out if I actually accomplished this and what I produced. My name is Valerie Madajemu. I work at the Information Lab as a Tableau and Alteryx consultant. Doing Makeover Monday helps me practice key skills as a consultant, such as creating user stories or goals and reimagining a chart. I want to get more efficient with this process, hence the 1 hour time limit. Today, I'll share with you what I created and what I learned this week. I had a go at the Makeover Monday 2024 Week 9 challenge. I looked at 65 ranked countries for the best and worst animal rights in 2021. The ways the countries were ranked were based on an animals' right index. There were 9 factors that went into the animal rights index. 1 to 4 had an equal weighting towards the animal rights index, while 5 to 9 had half a weighting towards the animal rights index. And I noticed there were 2 measuring systems. The factors that were 1 to 5 had a yes, partial, or no measuring system, while 6 to 9 had a grading system based on 0 to 100, and you can see that it's cut up into quarters. So the first quarter, 0 to 25 is the worst grade, and 76 to 100 is the best grade. And in this case, the higher the score, the better the animal rights index. So what were my first impressions? Well, I had to do a few double takes as I wasn't quite sure how to read this infographic due to the 2 measuring systems. The yes, partial, and no, and the numeric grading system. I found it difficult to translate the numerical keys into the chart itself below. And after scrolling after a while, the names of the columns were actually placed at the bottom. But I know at the top of the chart, obviously there is that key system. But again, I found it a bit difficult to read. And with the title being the best and the worst countries for animal rights, I found it difficult to actually then compare, for example, the top 5 and the bottom 5. So with that information I took in, I created a user story. I wanted the viewer to be able to quickly determine which was the best and worst country for animal rights based on the animal index. Probably very similar to what the original creator had in mind. But if I was to put my input on this, how could I improve the chart? So after consulting with the visual vocabulary, I thought a heat map would do the job pretty well to visualize the 9 factors uniformly. So with that idea, it meant I had to transform, the yes, no, the yes, partial, and no grading system into numbers from the image. So from the image, you can see that the yes has the icon fully filled, the partial halfway filled, and the no not filled at all. So from that logic, I just said, I created if statements in Tableau to say if, the recognition of animal sentience field equals yes, then 100. Else if that field equals partial, then 50, and then else no. This enables me to create a heat map with all 9 fields, having a numeric data type, which allows us to visualize everything on a uniform level, as you will see later on. And the final feature I wanted to add was add a top N and bottom N parameter with sets, allowing the user to choose, allowing myself or the user to choose between the best and the worst country by rank. I found quite a handy tutorial by Matthew Hefferson. I will make sure to drop his link down in the below, who walks you through how to create a dynamic, who walks you through how you can do such a thing in Tableau. Now that my design plan was finished with, finding frustrating points, creating his user story, and figuring out a way how I want to improve, I then created a sketch in Figma and jumped into Tableau. So what I'd like to do is I like to start with building out the dashboard. I don't know why, but it just alleviates a lot of pressure for me knowing that the dashboard's done and all I have to do is swap in a chart. I then carried out building. Then I started with the logic, transforming the transforming the yes, partial, and no grading system into numeric fields, and built out a Tableau and built out a heat map in Tableau. If you're not sure how to build a heat map in Tableau, check out the link below in the description. Now I'm going to reflect on what I did in the project, good, bad, and what I've learned. So let's reflect back on the project. So the positives, I liked that the idea kind of I liked how the idea naturally came about through the process I took from the design. So dissecting the graph, getting the first impressions, creating the user story, and what I can improve. I feel like the heat map just naturally came about from that. And also creating the user story really helped me, also facilitated with the heat map and trying to portray the information in the best way I think at that point in time was the best way to make. Because remember, I am under time constraint. You only have 1 hour, so I don't want to dwell on something too much. I just want to pick an idea, run with it, and answer the frustrations. A user and I had with the original chart. Unfortunately, this project took me 2.5 hours, a whole hour and a half extra, and I have a pretty good idea why. I was pretty disciplined with my design flow and what I wanted to improve, user story, and everything. So that plan went very well. Right up until the sketch. Actually, no, right up until I created the dashboard in Tableau, I was on task. I think next time I will keep an eye on the time, maybe have a timer on the screen as I go. But 25 minutes had gone when I just completed the dashboard, which meant I had to build the heat map on the logic. So one thing I didn't do is actually make a plan in Tableau. You would think after all the work I've done up until this point, I would just nicely finish this off, publish, and be done with it. No, I actually got distracted. Two or three other ideas came in, and I just got distracted with them and pursued those ideas passionately, and really I just completely negated the time limit I set for myself that day. And after pursuing the two ideas, I actually thought the original idea was better. So I think it's really, for me anyway, it's really important to have a plan in Tableau of what I'm going to do, because then if I have any spare time, I can then look at the other ideas I had. So it's a bit of a silly mistake from me, but definitely something to note down for next week. All right, on to the next reflection. So the next reflection I had was, was there anything new I learned? Setting up a top and bottom parameter with sets. I knew that was something that could have been done in Tableau, but I've never actually, done it. So it's actually it's nice to know how easy it is to do with the tutorial I followed. However, I did run into an issue. I didn't solve this on the day. I actually solved this a couple of days later. But in Matthew's video, you actually put the sets into the filter box. So after putting the sets into the filter, it doesn't keep the true rank, which something that really bugged me. I looked on YouTube or looked at many resources to see if this could be solved, and I found a video from Andy who showed you can keep the true rank of something if you just simply put instead of putting the sets in the filter shelf, you just put it on the rows, and you hide the out category, which meant I can now keep my true rank. So I can show the top 5, 1 to 5, or top 10, and I can also show the bottom 5. And the bottom 5 will actually be the true rank. So it should be going from 67 counting backwards. So what will I take into next week? So this week I got heavily distracted by other ideas coming in when I was starting my dashboarding process. Maybe that means in the design process, I give myself 5 more minutes. I give myself about 5 more minutes to see if I can come up with any other ideas that I can explore to avoid getting distracted by other ideas as soon as I get to Tableau. Because I feel like I set myself up for success. I felt in this Makeover Monday, it feels kind of like missing an open goal, which I've done many times because I play hockey. But it's I don't want to miss too many open goals. So this is something to definitely learn from, because and by saying that, just even if the main idea isn't perfect, well, I'm not looking to build a world-class visualization. I'm looking to solve the frustrations I've had with the graph. So I should always follow through with the main idea that I think is going to answer, satisfy my needs, and as well, hopefully, or not my needs, but the user's needs. And then if I have extra time, then pursue other ideas. And if I want to pursue a second idea, but at least the first chart's made under the time conditions, and then I can explore the second and third options. And lastly, I think just give myself a little bit of grace. I know that the hour time limit I want to be really strict on, but it's more of a guidance. I think I'd really like to get something done and published within the hour. But if I don't, I just need to sit down with myself and ask myself, why did it take me more than an hour? Is it your ability to build the logic, build the dashboard, design process? What's slowing you down? And find the weaknesses and improve of them every week, and try to improve of them every week. Like, this isn't a competition. This is just more about a learning process for myself. And I'm hoping by sharing with you all, it'll help you take the lessons I've taken on board, and hopefully make you a better consultant or better data analyst, or so on and so forth. So I appreciate you sticking around to the end if you did. If you enjoyed these videos, like and subscribe. I hope you learned something. I definitely have today. See you next week.